Today we will create a password app using App Inventor. So from our dashboard we need to create a new project which we can give it a name. Let's call it password and give it once you have it, you'll have a new screen that you now create your new project on it. And we need several components to function within our password application, and we need a password text box that we have dragged on our screen, which is now being aligned on the horizontal left side. Let us make our component be on the center stage of our screen. We can also give a hint on our screen so that whenever that you are opening your app, it shall now let you know that you need to enter a password. Enter password. You can also rename your text box so that it can be easier for you whenever that you go to the block area to design. It will be easier because you might be having quite a number of text boxes which might be hard to identify. So by renaming it, you make it quite easier for you to be able to notice what you require. So I have renamed my text box as password. I also need another component that we call it non-visible component, that is TinyDB. TinyDB, this will hold the variables that we shall have entered by default, so that if in case someone enters the password that has been assigned by default, then he'll be allowed to go to the next stage of functionalities upon the app. But if you won't be able to enter the password that has been assigned by default, then the application will not allow you to go to the next stage. And also we can create a notifier that you have made of you have entered a wrong password. So let as you can see that we have now gotten our non-visible components, and we also need to have a button that we will be submitting to verify our password that is true. So as you can see, both button and text box are close to each other. We need to use our label to give it a space so that it can be away from each other, and we clear the text in our text box, or we can also add another label on it to give more wider space. And we can also edit the text in our button, and we call it maybe submit button. You can maybe give it a shape, like you can give it a shape that you want, maybe to make it more rounded, or maybe change the background color, like you want to make it green, and so forth. So you can play around with several functions around the icons and see the changes in between. But let's continue. So we are done with our creation of our screen, and now we are ready now to go to yes, we can also rename our button if we wish. We can maybe call it a submit button, and we say okay. Now let's go to our block section and now give these buttons and text box functions. One, we want to know whenever that our screen is being initialized, we want to know exactly that whether we have some variables that are already assigned, which are comparing now to the entries that a user will be able to enter the password and compare to the default password that has been set. So here we will go to our tinydb and store the value that we shall create on our tag. So a tag is like a database address where our variables shall be stored. So you can just name in either a digit or a word. You can just name it as you wish. So maybe let's call it password db, db, and that's the tag we have. And we also need to give it our default password. For example, we can give it 1 2 3 4 5. So that's our default password. So whenever that's you open that up, immediately our address is been given that password as a default password. Now whenever now our submit button is being clicked, whenever our submit button is being clicked, what do we need to check? We need to check whether we are on our password, which has been chosen, if because now we are checking whether they are equal to each other, or somebody has entered 1 2 3 4 5 as a password, so that it can go to the next function. So if you don't, then it won't allow you to go to the next level, or we shall create maybe a notifier on the screen. If now a logic of if the password, the text that someone will enter on our app, if it is not what is in our database, it is not what is in our tag, because our tag already we can duplicate that and give it there. So if what you have entered is not what is in our tag, then we need to let the app decide what to do. So if it is equal, one, you can maybe opt to maybe let's add another screen to give it a more better and call it open another screen, open another screen, then say okay, the second screen. So let's go back to our screen. So we can come here and decide that we want to open another screen, and come here and decide to open another screen. Sorry. Oh, control, yeah. Open another screen here. Open another screen. If the password is 1 2 3, if somebody has entered the right password, now our screen will be open another screen, because that is what we have named our screen. But what if somebody now doesn't enter the right password? We can have an else component there, and we say else. There's something else that we can add on top of this to show a notification on our screen that you have entered a wrong password. We go back to our design, and we can call another component, non-visible component, that is called a notifier, and this will now show up on our screen once we have really made a mistake of not exactly doing what is supposed to be done. So on our component, then it will notify us that we have entered a wrong password. And here we need also to show the message what our user has done. So, and we can tell them you have entered wrong password, and that is it. So you'll see that whenever that you do the right thing, the other screen will open and authorize you to do other functions. If you enter a wrong password, it will also notify you have entered a wrong password. And to make this app live on our phone, and there are different options that you can maybe do a practical exercise, but for me I always make an option of using my phone. So from the app menu here, we have an option of building. You can build an app to an APK file, because Android phones always allow APK files to be able to be built so that your app can come to a live operation within your phone. So once I do that, it downloads and compile the whole project what we have done, and we shall test on our actual phone exactly what we have coded within our code, and we try to see whether if we do the right password, whether it allows us to the next screen, and if we do not have the right password, whether it will notify us that we have entered a wrong password. So right now, let the compilation ends, and the APK will be now downloaded on our computer, and from our downloads then we can send the APK file to our phone and install it, and then we can have a virtual test on our device. We have already compiled our application, and now we want to download it now to our computer, and as you can see now our download has already started, and it's done. So we go to where our folder has been sent on our computer, and here we are, and we can now send it to our phone, and the file will be uploaded, and now we do the installation on our phone. So that is what we have today. Next video I'll show you how you can compare between two passwords and edit them to enter an option of the password that you wish to have, that is comparing two passwords and editing them. Thank you.